So my personal nightmare just came true. The Cleveland Cavaliers have lost Ty Jerome. The front office chose Lonzo Ball and Sam Merrill over Jerome. And I'm not saying it's a bad decision. Nobody knows how this will play out. But Ty Jerome became such a huge player. He was one of the most efficient guards in the entire NBA throughout the regular season. Obviously, he struggled a bit in the playoffs, but it was his first time there. I personally was hoping the Cavs would do whatever they could to keep him, but he just signed with the Memphis Grizzlies, honestly for less money than I thought he would get. Sam Merrill ended up being paid more, which is just wild. So it turns out keeping him could have actually happened. Obviously, we don't know if Jerome wanted a spot where he could start and keep growing, or the underlying pieces of this story, but all I know is losing Ty Jerome sucks, and I want to talk all about this situation. But first, before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so let's break this down. Ty Jerome has officially signed a 3-year, $28 million deal with the Grizzlies, complete with a 3rd-year player option. Memphis used their room exception to bring him in. It was smart and clean with no assets traded, no salary moved around. That cap strategy is next level, and seeing Ty go for $28 million versus Sam Merrill's $38 million over 4 years, man, that's just something it's hard to look at. And yes guys, as I mentioned, before someone says, well, Ty shot poorly in the playoffs, hear me out. Jerome thrived and was one of the most important players to the Cavs' success for the entire season. Even in the first round against the Heat, he was great. He averaged 12.5 points with 3.4 assists and 2.5 rebounds per game, shooting an incredible 51.6% from the field and 43.9% from deep, and also 87.2% from the line, all in about 20 minutes per contest. He had 5 games off the bench with at least 25 points, tying for 3rd most in the league. He brought pace, playmaking, spacing, and an instant scoring punch. His shooting efficiency put him in the 90th percentile or higher among NBA guards. He was a true impact player, and the thing that annoys me is that the Cavs brought in Merrill to be a spot-up shooter for the long term, but the reality is that Jerome is actually a better shooter statistically, plus he brings a lot more to the team offensively, but his defense definitely was not the best, and Sam Merrill's improved throughout the year. And then came the playoffs. Jerome opened things up with a spectacular 28-point game against Miami, but as we all know, things slipped up during round 2 against Indiana. The Cavs coaching staff and Kenny Atkinson reacted to it by reducing Ty's minutes, pulling him from being Cleveland's bench backbone and 6th Man of the Year candidate. And make no mistake about it, these athletes are competitors. Being pulled cold in Game 5 of the playoffs left a mark. You can blame the X's and O's or pressure, but benching him entirely wasn't just strategy, it was a psychological blow. Ty knew that Cleveland viewed him as untrustworthy when the heat was on, and for a guy who worked all season to earn that role, that hurts. Financially, Cleveland could have kept Ty. They had early bird rights, which meant they could have matched Memphis' offer of about $14 million per year. That matches Sam Merrill's deal and fits under their cap. Instead, they chose Merrill and Lonzo Ball, who arrived via trade from Chicago, showing that they are prioritizing veteran stability and continuity. But Merrill, while he can be a consistent shooter, he doesn't replicate Jerome's offensive explosiveness and just all-around game. But now let's swing this thing back around to Memphis, because they came with a 3-year deal with cap flexibility and clear usage plans. Ty clearly sees himself fitting next to Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. running off ball. I think his floater game and spot-up shooting will be a great fit next to Morant. So Memphis locks him in, gives him trust and structure, and that trust is everything. And contrast that with how Cleveland handled things, benching him in the postseason, then shifting cap resources to safer, steadier veteran options. It's not just like a gameplay move, it sends a message, and Ty felt it. His choice to go to Miami wasn't just cap savvy, it was emotional, logical, and career forward. And I don't know if the Cavs and Ty ended on bad terms. I certainly hope they didn't, and I don't think they did, but at the end of the day, we don't know the true inside story. So let's talk about Memphis' strategy. Using the room exception, they signed Ty without sacrificing picks or flexibility. They gained his 51, 44, 87 offensive shooting splits, elite spacing, and secondary playmaking without a max contract. They can still extend Jaren Jackson Jr., who just signed a 5-year, $240 million extension. They re-signed Santi Aldama, all while staying cap conscious. They're banking that Ty's best basketball is ahead of him, and that's huge upside for a bargain. But what did Cleveland lose? They lost a tone setter, a six-man spark, a core identity piece in their bench. Sam Merrill can definitely shoot the rock, but he's not a playmaker, and Lonzo offers size and ball handling, but their identity still shifts. They're betting on more second unit scoring from DeAndre Hunter, or relying on the core four even more, and that might work, but losing Ty takes away the sudden offensive punch and chemistry he built. Now, about Kenny Atkinson, he has done a great job in building the culture, sharpening the young core, but that playoff benching, that may go down as his biggest move and statement from last season, and I'm not saying he was in the right or wrong. There were times where I was screaming at the TV to get Ty off the floor because he just didn't have it. It wasn't purely X's and O's, but that move may have fractured the relationship, and if it's what pushed Ty away, well, it just shows bench usage in critical games has deeper consequences than just minutes alone. Looking ahead, the ripple effect could redefine what bench players demand in this league. When Memphis cashes in and Ty starts to thrive, it validates that room exception plus usage plus trust equals a winning formula. Cleveland pivoted their cap structure, but somebody will ask, do clean financial decisions outweigh losing generational bench chemistry, especially when margins in playoff runs are razor thin? Now here's the even deeper question. Will this move actually define Cleveland's bench identity? Will bench effectiveness tilt the upcoming seasons? They believe they have young veteran options. Is Cleveland now more financially secure? Yes, but they could be on thinner water, so we'll see. But the bottom line is, Ty Jerome is walking away from Cleveland for less money than Merrill because money isn't everything. Trust, respect, usage, and career direction matter. Cleveland gave that up with benching him in the playoffs and also some of their structure choices. Memphis gave him a home, and that's the human side of NBA deals. Trust sometimes trumps dollars when a player feels something's earned and then yanked. But at the end of the day, it's a sticky situation. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it. There is no one to blame. I think Kenny Atkinson did what he had been doing all year and what was working by benching Ty. He made in-game adjustments according to how things in front of him were happening, and Ty was a big liability on the floor. Halliburton hit the game winner over him. He was shooting like 1 for 15. He could not be out there, and all off season we kind of expected this to happen, but now it's here, and I just don't know how to feel about it because Jerome really became my favorite player on the team, and it sucks with that injury that we only got to see 1 year of him on the court in Cleveland. But moving forward, it's not over. As I said, the Cavs traded for Lonzo Ball. Obviously, he's a super injury prone player, but his size and length brings so much upside to this defense, and it kind of allows this small backcourt to work if he is actually out there playing 20 to 25 minutes a game. I don't know what his timeline is for being completely healthy. He can take his time, but I don't think we are going to see the same regular season Cavs in 2025. But honestly, I'm glad about that. I could care less about a 65-win regular season. I want to see this team match up physically and thrive in the playoffs. They have to get past the second round. It's a must. But that's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about losing Ty Jerome, if you're sad about it, if you're happy about it. I'm personally kind of devastated, but at the same time, I'm excited for what's to come with Lonzo Ball and Sam Merrill. I think the future is definitely bright, and the East is wide open. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. Please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't, and make sure to let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.